expectations have been blown out of the water, and that's why even
For sure.
you have to go ahead and agree with what's been said over on the panel between Ilyas and Heidi. They've been saying you really can't expect anything because hell, Team Spirit was beat out, right? And they were the MSC champions. So it's like at this point, leave it up to almost a coin flip to see what happens. And I feel like that's where we are with our current meta as we jump into a draft for game number 1. We're going to see exactly where that's going. We got people cheering for Emon, man. I know there's a lot of people out there cheering for Emon. If you have to choose a team, I saw some people making sad posts online about Team Falcons. Well, if you guys want, there's plenty of Filipinos competing. There's both teams with Filipinos on it, so you know you got to rally behind someone. But yeah, I think I have to agree with you also with KOYLY and Kozin. Obviously, 2 standouts here from Pro Esports, but not just that, but the other 3 players, Sa, PP, and Sarion Felix, all have amazing performances over the last course of their matches. It's just, I think Pro Esports' main thing here is playing as a team. They kind of play a little chaotic, and Bigatron by Vitality can do the same thing. It's just, I think they do it a little better than Pro Esports.
Yeah. When you said that this game could be, or this series, in fact, could be a coin flip, I do agree with that because there could be, there could be so much that could happen. Like Pro Esports can activate KOYLY out of nowhere, and maybe he's gonna be able to outplay NNAEL. However, when it comes to the draft, that is where we can see that it is controllable by the teams, and I feel like Pro Esports have a lot to do when it comes to the draft because so far Bigatron by Vitality, if there's anything that I want to say about this team, is that they're drafting okay. I think they always know what they want to have. They always make sure that Moreno will have a good time, and they also know how to play around Eman during the draft. So I'm gonna be expecting a lot from Pro Esports. In fact, they first picked the Melissa. That's how much importance they put into winning the lanes.
Wow. I don't know how many times we're going to see this. You know, Melissa first pick, blue sign priority. But if you look at the bans, I guess they're willing to go ahead and trade that out. Uranus and the Juicin going to be the answer, at least over here on the red sign for Bigatron. And good answers, I guess you could say. The Juicin obviously helping still with crowd control. Some good kind of ability to take care of yourself in the lane, of course, and you have that beacon. I'm not sure if you're also going to be running with that Purify, but nonetheless, this is already a good start. Now, Pro Esports picking up the Melissa early on. You already saw how many times she was picked up so far for Games of the Future. I think it's around now maybe 19 times, or 19 wins, sorry, about 19 wins or so. But you need to go ahead and supplement this. They do that with the Nolan and the Valentina pickup.
Okay. This is almost similar to what we're seeing from previous teams, like how Aurora was drafting, or at least how Falcons will be drafting. But I'm curious to see what Pro Esports will pick up when it comes to their tanks. So they're tanky dudes that protect the Melissa, right? They play around the Melissa. Because so far, BTR have taken away 1, and the Atlas as well as the Barretts has been banned. So there's going to be less and less options here for Pro Esports in that department. Whereas for BTR, will they go for the Harley this time so that it will not be banned out? Or will they go for an Eman hero, which is going to be the Harith, so it seems.
Okay, Harith. It's weird. I almost would have expected the swap here, you know, on the gold laners. Kozin getting the Harith and the Melissa going over to Eman. But not the case. Again, there's a reason why Pro Esports wanted to go ahead and pick and prioritize Melissa. It's just so weird how over the past maybe a week and a half in terms of competitive MLBB, we've seen Melissa just kind of take that rise. I think pretty much she's in the #1 spot, bumped up there past maybe the Claude for the most part. But you are seeing where that threat of the Melissa is, I would say, a little more troubling for teams to deal with, especially when she hits that power spike. But then on the other side, it's the ultimate, right? It's just so good at kind of taking care of yourself. That go away from me ultimate is great. Yeah. So I think another thing though is because you went with the Valentina, what are you going to be able to go ahead and take here for ultimates? Right now, it's mainly just that beacon that's going to be coming out from Moreno's Jushin, but that's what BTR also has to decide on their last 2 picks. They're focusing on the XP options Again, sorry I'm Felix. If you guys haven't watched Pro Esports in a while, sorry I'm Felix. Darn good XP laner, man. I mean, usually on the Barretts especially, like Barretts, but he's also a great Yuzhong. Paquito, if it's flexed into that XP lane, you could see the Phoveus and Esmeralda being banned out because of just how much of a threat usually Sorry I'm Felix is.
Yeah. Which will now be a weird predicament that Pro Esports put themselves in, because almost exclusively I think they will go for tanky heroes rather than damage setup heroes, because although Sorry I'm Felix flourishes with your Yuzhongs, your Lapu-Lapus, you kind of have to look for a tank now because you drafted both Nolan as well as the Melissa. You need a way to defend yourselves with these squishy picks. So I think that this is something that Pro Esports are now looking to correct, looking to answer, as I would say. And so far, what their response will be depends on Red 4 for BTR, because BTR can take away maybe a Hylos or a Batang, actually. That's their roam choice.
Oh, wow.
Or a
Matilda. Taking one from Pagu, man. You know, they just saw the Matilda work in the hands of Pagu. They'll go ahead and lock it in for BTR. This is a whole lot of shields. That's why they banned out the Esmeralda too. It makes a whole lot of sense now because, you know, multiple shields being built up here by their heroes so far. We'll see what that last option is going to be in the jungle for BTR shortly here. Right now, 2 picks left. Pro Esports, they still need their jungler and they need their XP laner. Or no, sorry, they need their XP laner and their roam currently, unless, I don't know, Wolf. We did count out the roam Valentina earlier today, but I don't think that's happening here.
Yeah, roam Valentina. Ooh, okay.
Is that the reaction? Is that the reaction?
Yeah, that's my reaction. Oh, okay. So the Alice makes a lot of sense here. I think this is the game where I can say, yeah, the choke can work. There's really not much that he has to think about. But this time it's going to be the Alice, which is also a good hero here for Pro Esports. It's just that they're going to be waiting for the game to progress so slowly here. BTR, they can choose to go for a jungler that's really quick when it comes to taking the objectives. Maybe a Gwyn, perhaps, for them. Or how about the Leomord, actually? What if they will be the ones to take the Leomord? That'll be interesting.
If they go with the Leomord, that'd be so kind of curveball. It'd be a big curveball because I'm not expecting a Leomord, but what else could you possibly take here going against a Nolan, knowing so many of the other assassins are banned out? It looks like, okay, it's going to be the Hayabusa. Is this the move for NNAEL and the rest of the squad here for BTR?
Yeah, I think that this is good. And the reason why that is because of the Hayabusa. Because of the Melissa, I mean. The Hayabusa does not care about the go away. As long as you have enough damage, you feel like, if you calculated it properly, one shadow kill will be devastating against a Melissa that is not going to be safe from the go away. Of course, there is that factor of the Wind of Nature that can eventually be picked up by the Melissa, but all in all, I think this is a decent pick that you can actually utilize in this meta game against the Melissa.
Yeah, against the Melissa again. First game of this best-of-3 series. It's a single elimination, so what are the teams going to be knocked out here for Games of the Future 2026? Bigatron by Vitality. Probably one of the favorites in this one, but Pro Esports has shown us before, even after a sweep of yesterday against Rune Eaters, that they're here to play, just like in the previous international. Let's jump into the Land of Dawn here. It's game 1 in this best-of-3. Now, Wolf, we have to talk about going into this, going forward. Again, it's a Matilda across from you in the hands of Finn. You don't necessarily have the same match that we saw with Raphael versus Matilda. So how does Pro Esports move around the map against something so mobile for this lineup for BTR?
Well, you wait your opportunity. Maybe the later the game goes, you have enough tankability so that even when your opponents are mobile, the longer the fight goes, at least you can region up and you can fight afterwards and you can go for the outplay. That's probably what Pro Esports are going to be banking on. It's going to be a game of patience for them. Whereas for BTR, they are going to be very happy being aggressive. I think they're just going to be waiting for their first items, and then you can see them to not stop fighting.
Yeah, they can be patient, but if BTR doesn't want them to be patient, I think with this kind of lineup, they can press on the pedal to the metal if they want to early on, because of the fact that they can kind of displace themselves with that guiding wind. Obviously, circling will be really big. I think the main theme of the day, though, man, has been just how difficult it is for any team that decides to go ahead and draft in a Cho. Now in the hands of P here, they have to really work for those kicks, you know? I mean, we've seen it before where there's a great setup, but then obviously the Cho gets blasted, he's gone, and even if you get that kick, sometimes it's not the target you want, you know? And even if you go for a kick, because there's a Matilda there, there's a potential chance for them to just get away with it. So it looks like this first turtle, uh-oh, KOYLY gets it.
Oh, KOYLY gets it, and they want to go for more. They're diving in. In comes the jump coming up from the Valentina. That's the first blood. But Zushin actually knocks up too, but Mr. BTR by Vitality, they want to go for a little bit of retaliation in here. They are healed up for a little bit. Shogun is just level 3. Now that can reach level 4. That's 2 kills for Pro Esports, but in comes the Jushin. Moreno being shut down. KOYLY takes it. Pro Esports just had enough of experience and enough levels for them to outgun BTR.
Man, you saw what BTR wanted to do after that fight broke out and the turtle was secured by Pro Esports. You know, they waited for a moment that would allow NNAEL to jump in with that shadow kill to try to go ahead and capitalize on some kills, but they just got outmaneuvered, and then when they jumped in, they got punished. So that's not the fight that BTR was wanting to take. Maybe it was now BTR that needs to be a little more patient approaching these fights. I thought they'd almost give up that first turtle too. They chose not to, and now they've got to go ahead and recuperate them around the map. There's nothing too crazy though, about 1,000 gold or so for Pro Esports, but if there's anything that last fight showed us, it's that Pro Esports is willing to take this fight right to BTR and not be so patient with it. I mean, they're the aggressors, and this is how Pro Esports is played.
Yeah. This is their MO. This is how they want to deal with this, but curious to see how Pro Esports will take advantage of this situation. They have 1,000 gold lead over BTR. And if you're the Cho, if you're the Nolan, you want to keep on being aggressive. It will come to a point where this Alice will now be a threat. So you gotta have to wait and prepare for that moment. And that moment might be in the next turtle, which is gonna be happening soon. Some exchanges here in the bottom lane go away for the Zaman Force, but in comes the Circling Eagle. Big ultimate that was spent by BTR actually, which might mean that Pro Esports will now have the advantage over this turtle. Look at KOYLY jumping in. Moreno has to pop the ultimate now. Sa is there to force out Moreno. Whereas NNAEL is just working on this turtle. It will be taken by the Hayabusa. They get out of there as well as Moreno. That's daylight robbery by BTR by Vitality.
All right, BTR wanted the objective. They got it. They knew some ultimates were expended down on the bottom side. They want to make sure that, okay, slow it down a little bit. Pro Esports is playing fast. We just need to go ahead and get objective and then allow NNAEL back into the jungle, scale up in the Hayabusa. It's one of the problems, right, with Hayabusa. Usually you want to go ahead and make sure that you're either getting these kills early on or just at least maintaining farming speed. Oh, there's a kick.
Oh, there's a good kick. In fact, NNAEL going down. That's Hayabusa out and about now. They want to punch PP, but we'll get it. They will have enough damage through Finn, through the Jushin, and of course, damage coming out from Eman. That's gonna be 4-2 though.
I'm sorry, NNAEL. As I was saying, you know, Caster Curse, he ends up getting targeted down. As I was saying, he should want to go ahead and maintain that farming speed with KOYLY, because that's what a NOLAN does so well, right? I mean, when NOLAN first was introduced into the Land of Dawn, we knew that just he could farm so quick. You know, they tried to do some changes here, but essentially he's still a quick farmer. You know, he's able to go ahead and jungle really quickly. He has that burst window that he has really well. He's already sitting on 2 kills, and there's a big threat to that if NNAEL kind of falls behind, because as Hayabusa has been, again, there hasn't been many players that have picked him up, and even less players that have actually made him work successfully. So you really have to rely on your team to set you up. A Sky Piercer is now picked up by KOYLY. So we'll see what you're able to do. I think even as the easiest target maybe here for NNAEL, being that being Sa, the Valentina. That's why he's holding on to the beacon, man. Sa knows that as long as I have this beacon, at least I have a little bit of wiggle room to work with. And Pete has been so aggressive with the kicks, giving that space over. Last turtle up, though. It's 1-for-1 right now. This is going to be a full-on fight for the last turtle.
Yeah, gonna go in. KOYLY takes a turtle. Shields for Pro Esports, but BTR, they still want to jump in. They are actually being warded by this Alice with the floater in the backside, the quad shadow. The shadow kill is not gonna matter so much as all the members of Pro Esports are sharing the damage. KOYLY with the pokes. They go for the Terrify. No one dying just yet. Jumping from NNAEL, forcing some rotation. Sa actually forced to use his ultimate, and that is gonna be it. Pro Esports just takes the turtle for themselves. No casualties on both ends.
Yeah, that felt really weird, right? Just a full-on team fight breaking out, no one falling. Even the shadow kill really didn't do too much damage, but that's just the power of having this Matilda once again. You know, there's the shielding, there's the mobility. Looks like there's a tension here.
Oh, tension indeed. On the bottom, the Salmon Force as well as the Guiding Wind able to aid Eman, but they will not be able to keep their turrets secured. While that's happening, there is the Sky Piercer. NNAEL wants to use this already up top. He's threatening for a kill onto the Alice. Try to go for the play up top, but the Alice is just way too tanky for him to deal with.
Yeah, and you can see that Sarion Felix picking up the Radiant Armor for the first item. Across the board, not too much difference here, aside from the jungle. Again, that's why we were saying NNAEL wants to continue to farm up. He just picked up the Sky Piercer, about 1,000 gold behind KOYLY. And given how things went, that's kind of expected. Now, one of the main things is Sarion Felix picked up that Radiant Armor. His whole job is to survive that amount of magic damage that BTR has, especially when he tries to go for entry with his Flicker, whether he has it or not, gleams in, Throne of Ruins, and tries to go for that setup. So as he gets more tanky, the more chances he'll have to go ahead and make that happen. A Blade now, Hipsies picked up for KOYLY, DHS, so you got your 2 out of 3 items for Kozen. It's Pro Esports just continuing to build up here. There's a kick.
They do initiate with this time, and now they take out Shogun. Even the Uranus will not be able to stand against 4. Jumping of KOYLY, but Rob said they actually coming over BTR with the Circling Eagle. The Throne of Women on the backside. KOYLY down because of the quad shadow, the shadow kill. Now NNAEL in trouble, but saved by Finn. Onto the backline. Sarion Felix still wants to go in. Under the turret, has to back down. Eman does not have the ultimate. And Kozen will be there to fend off the entry from BTR. But what a kill. Coming out from NNAEL. The ultimate to take out KOYLY.
Oh yeah, NNAEL. I believe he got the stacks because he has the Sky Piercer. Is he gonna look for a solo kill here on Kozen? Taking a couple shots with the turret. Okay, Kozen's gonna be fine. P's making his way up. He might try to make a play here. Muddle's already dropped down.
Shadow kill used just to get out. There's the kick. There's the damage size here as well. The save coming up from the battlefield. It's enough. Even when NNAEL, he gets out. In comes the Salmon Force. Now Kozen in trouble. He is taken out by Eman. And a turnaround from BTR. NNAEL survives with a sliver of HP.
Oh, literally 1 HP, Wolf. Barely surviving. Good rotation there on both teams, though. But meanwhile, Lord's being worked on this whole time by KOYLY. So that's a Lord secured by Pro Esports. And so right now, BTR might be able to respond and follow through on the map, but they're losing the objectives that matter. And with this, again, they have no turrets down. Pro Esports only has 1. They're going to have to make some moves here. Finally, that 1 turret does go down. Going to be looking for more. Mid lane is where they're holding it together. They're going to try to push them off. So for Pro, they want to approach the base turrets, but they're probably not going to get it off this first Lord. I expect them to just maybe get down some of the tier 2s at most, depending on how they play this map. Emon getting closer to coming online. He's got the Divine Glaive now. He'll probably start working on that Holy Crystal. And so they're getting in that fighting position. It's just BTR, for the most part, has had a little difficult time trying to approach these fights.
NNAEL finds Sasa is out, and Valentina out, down for the count. And there is no exchange as Finn survives as well with the skin of teeth. As this Matilda, good punish coming out from BTR, taking out Sa, the Valentina, in the guise of that Jushin. Not enough to save himself, and then the bottom lane. Although there will be a turret push coming out from Pro Esports because of the Lord, they still will defend. The BTR in the middle will lose their turret. Good shot coming out from Pro Esports. as BTR will be losing some real estate, but does get kills.
Okay, so Niall's got the damage to go ahead and get a kill like on Saw. But they do lose the tier 2s up top and bot, like we kind of expected off that Lord. Again, a very quick decision from Pro Esports, but BTR is still doing a great job at kind of staunching the bleeding. That's kind of what they have to do. You know, working from a bit of a delay that they had in the earlier portion of the game, but they've definitely gotten to a fighting form now. Malefic Aurora picked up, so you saw the damage Niall was able to do, especially on the squishier heroes here of Pro Esports. Well, now he can shred through them a little bit more. And a lot of this, again, just has to do with deciding on, does Niall approach these fights first to go ahead and use that shadow kill, or does he just wait for that right moment, again, with the Sky Piercer to go ahead and get that proc with the shadow kill? And so there's a couple different ways that they can approach this, and why Pro Esports going into face first into this fight against the Jushin and the Matilda is really difficult.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that they tried to do that kind of play, but yeah, that's Pro Esports now. Jumping in forward. PPP or P. Just call him P, right?
Yeah, I just call him P.
That's
a lot of P's.
A lot of P's. No, he's going to receive the shadow kill, but he's going to attack it like a boss. In comes Sorry and Felix for the exchange. They haven't committed yet, just yet. Terrified the Shogun. NNAEL wants to dip back into the fight. No reaction or overreaction coming up from Pro Esports, as this is going to be a very tricky scenario. Pro Esports, they have all of their ultimates intact. Nolan will have his pretty soon, and that's also true for BTR. This Lord Dance will be so close.
All right, Lord is up, 13-minute mark. Niall waiting for that purple. He's going to go ahead and secure this buff. Rose Gold picked up by KOYLY to help with this. They're going to try to push BTR off this Lord. It's sitting at half health.
Oh, sorry, and Felix. Oh, no, Shogun is low. But the punishment coming up from BTR. Going to the backline. Shadow kill is not going to be close at all. Moreno is now low. The kill out from Sa. And now NNAEL on the backline wants to take out KOYLY. KOYLY survives for now, but not P. They will take out the Cho. Now Eman is onto the backlines, but NNAEL gets the double as he takes out Sorry and Felix. BTR just waited for their proper moment to get eliminations, but it's still a 2-for-2 trade-off. Lord has been reset. Sa finds out that NNAEL is going to be looking at this Lord. Eman dealing the damage. Here comes Sa. Shows himself. KOYLY as well. They do have the damage coming out from Kozen, but it is enough to fend it off. Shogun just standing in front of them to zone them out. That's the Lord taken by BTR cleanly.
A really good zone set up there with the Zaman Force and Shogun on the Uranus, just kind of posting up to make sure they were able to kind of secure that Lord. So Lord secured, and now it's BTR's chance to go ahead and make some moves here across the map. You know, they had the first Lord taken from them. Now they're going to fight here, possibly. Shogun, okay, should be able to heal back up. Consecrate popped. He's got the Guiding Wind available too if they need it. But they got to deal with this tier 1 turn, at least open up the map a little bit for BTR to go ahead and start utilizing this Lord. Pro Esports still in a really good position to fight if they want to. I think that's one of the main things now, where it's how do you take care of your gold laner for the most part on both sides. But Pro also has to be really cautious about where NNAEL is. They already get the beacon out from Moreno, so that's at least something for Pro Esports to worry about. They're just desperately holding on here. Pete, pop and conceal.
Going in for more of a dagger coming up from BTR. They will go for the Circling Eagle onto P, because that they know where the Cho is. They clear the wave. They managed to keep their tier 1 turret in the middle intact. That's really good for Pro Esports, but they will lose their top lane. It's the Sentry. The push commences for BTR, the slow siege. There's no initiation just yet, and I think the BTR are going to be happy with just taking out some of the outer turrets. They eventually take out the tier 1 turret in the middle. I think that should be it for the Lord push for BTR.
Yeah, Lord push is there. They're going to go ahead and try to take this purple buff. It's secured though by KOYLY. He's able to go ahead and get it. Again, I think BTR, given the situation, they're happy with what they got. They got some damage down to the base turret up top of Pro Esports. But nonetheless, it's so close here, Wolf. Again, both compositions pretty much even across the board. It's more of the execution now that we have to see. And that's why it's so difficult. It's one of those things where what battle spells can we get out? What ultimates can we get out? How can we turn these tides, turn the fights in our favor? And that's all that matters here. P, a big part of that. That's why he's got the immortality now too. He can be a little more risky. Just not too risky to the point where he ends up not getting a kick that he wants. Oh, they're going for Emon.
Oh, they want to go for Emon. A quick burst! Oh my goodness, Pro Esports, they throw in everything onto BTR, and Emon could not even react. Not even a Purify clicked out there. Pro Esports, a massive pickoff. It's 20 seconds before the big objective, the second lord of the game. And a big pickoff, eliminating the gold laner of BTR.
Emon should, I don't know if he's actually going to make it in time. It depends if Pro Esports blitzes the Lord, but I don't think BTR is going to let that happen. So Emon will be back up in 12. Lord is up. It's going to be started up here. Sa holding on to the beacon. They are going to blitz it. They're going for a potential fight here, Wolf.
They just spoke. They just spoke, and that's going to be enough. Big zone. Even just the models being thrown there by Kozin is enough to stop BTR from progressing. That's a big, big advantage that Pro Esports have taken 17 minutes into this game. P wants to go for a kick. No,
he's just chilling.
Not much. He's just chilling. There's not much Pro Esports insight when that happens. So yeah, I think there's just this forcing some reactions up to Emon.
Yeah, they're just kind of waiting here. Orange buff's going to be worked on. NNAEL will be able to get it, but the Lord is making its way slowly up top as a tier 2 in the mid. Going to be zoned out of it, especially with the muddles there. This is one of the upper hand advantages that you get with the Melissa. And now they're to the base. That cannon minion's going to go down, but they got to deal with this Lord. The other waves managed very well by Pro.
Push. Obviously, in Emon taking some damage. There's the kick onto the Uranus. That's Shogun. It'll be safe for now. Gets out of there. Didn't even have to figure. Oh, gives a throw went out to the backline. Everybody's bursted down as well. Good fight coming up from Pro Esports. Once again, circling far too slow for BTR. They don't have the turrets anymore. And then comes the push. NNAEL. Is he in the back? Oh, he will be able to kill up Sa with a shadow kill. Wants to go for more. Go away. Coming up from Kozin. Enough to fend up BTR. But now it has expired. The damage coming up from Kozin is threatening right now. But now the members of Pro Esports are getting low. Minute by minute, second by second. The Shogun is just fronting this, posting them up. NNAEL, for some reason, tries a lot of kills in here. But will be taken up by Kozin through the models. They weren't able to take care of business. Now B with the kick. KOYLY's there, ready. What an alley coming out from B. Now it's Finn to be taken out with 2 low members of Pro Esports. They're not dead yet. And that meant that they were able to get more kills.
Oh man, what a fight. Shogun was able to eat up so many hits from Kozin. He even picked up the blade armor in that fight, buying them enough time. And yes, multiple deaths there to stay in the game. BTR, though, holds on true. Pro Esports could see the win in sight, but they just couldn't get past that front line that was set up by BTR. A really good defense. Despite it all, BTR manages to stay in the game, but they lost all their base turrets, so it was expensive as hell to stay in it. But now Pro Esports, they got to go ahead and do it again. They got to reset here. They got to win another Lord fight. Up in about 20 seconds. This one going to be evolved. They've got to fight for it. Potions now being traded up, picked up. Divine Glaive for Emon. Emon got blasted last time, so he's really got to be careful on his positioning and maybe just sit like shoulder to shoulder with Finn, wing to wing. I don't know, because he can't get blasted like that. They might have to give up this Lord. It looks like that's going to be the case. They're not going to be able to swing over there in time. Shogun already gave them the information, and now BTR. They got to be ready for this defense, man.
Let's look at their defense. They won't have any of their turrets. Pro Esports can use this Lord as a battering ram. Together with the amount of damage that they have, as long as they protect Kozin, you can see how much damage you can deal through just the muddles from a safe distance. Gotta be careful as well, BTR. Don't get hit by that muddles coming out from Kozin. We gotta be able to get out of there. Kozin gotta be careful, don't move like that. Quickly identifies that he has to back down and cannot show himself into the lane.
Whoa.
Sorry, and Felix
Whoa.
will be the one. Whoa,
Whoa.
what a circling eagle! Sa is the one to be bursted down. Go away, gonna be used here very early. Tumanakam coming on from PPP. Now Koyly is able to get the kill onto the backlines, onto the Matilda. Kozen still surviving for now. Long enough for his teammates to help him out so that they can take more members of Vitality. They can take up 2 now. Shogun in trouble. 3 versus 1. Mega kill for Kozen. Great usage of the circling kill coming from BTR, but Pro Esports were prepared, and now the defense commences. BTR 2 versus 4. The Lord is here. They're jumping forward.
They want to end it
with some baits. In comes the damage. In comes the push, and they will take it. Pro Esports takes game 1.
Ooh, what a game 1. Just when I thought a heroic play was going to come out from Finn and NNAEL on that circling eagle guiding wind combo into the shadow kill, it just was unfortunately not enough as Pro Esports comes out on top with the team fight, man. Again, a great showcase of team fighting between both teams. Wolf, it's looking like we might potentially go to a game 3 with this one because this is a longer game than we're used to. Not plus the 25 minutes, but very close. We're going to be taking it to a break before we head on over to the panel.